All right. Let's see if I can get my face, get it right in front of the globe. So, I am resuming the pushpin transcription from Google Earth that I did of BrickFields of Bangladesh. I'm going to resume doing the Rashai division from where I left off yesterday, and I'll make some comments about how to make how to use Google Earth to make homegrown GISs for various subjects. And so I'm just going to give an overview, and if you see this fishing rod with a rag going up in front of it, is to keep the camera from shutting down. Let's start. Action. So I pretty much read a lot of stuff, whatever amount I have free, and if my interest is piqued, I'll go reading news, and then I'll correlate it to the location of the news. This is a GIS I have just recently started working on in Pakistan. This is not the first time. First time was when I did the drainage system of Islamabad. Oh man, that was fun. I didn't do the system, I just mapped it. So you basically follow the obvious streams and you do a path mark across it like so. And it was nice. It took like 6-7 months or something like that. And usually I focus really close so that I get the path mark right in the midstream, because that actually means something when it comes to draining. তো ওই মাঝ দরিয়াতে দাগটা দিলে ওটা পরে অঙ্কে পরিণত করা সহজ হয়। অঙ্ক এবং ছক এবং প্রোগ্রাম, you can convert it into a presentation, animation, whatever you want to do. I don't want to go into detail. My object is to get my path mark pixelation straightened out. That's all I want. So I had this whole thing when I first started messing around with let's make information. They're gonna let me store information on there. Oh, how cool! So Islamabad, this is the foothills of Margala foothills, and these striations have been created by removing hills with bulldozers. They flattened it out. All that's left of the old drainage pattern, most of the drains have been destroyed. Just the bigger ones have been left just to serve the city. So mapping that is important because it all comes together in Leh Nalli, which is this Pagdandi kind of type of thing. This is Leh. It floods every year. Every year. And I mapped that too. And it's very interesting. At places people have houses like here, like in localities like this. If you go on the other side and if you take if you see pictures, you'll see the houses are built on embankment that's about a house and a half high, and there's plastic garbage in it. It's sitting on plastic garbage, a lot of it. Anyway, that's not my point. Is not to make a criticism of it or anything like that. It's just that's how I began. I'll read the news, go to the place, see if it's real, and then somebody says no, and somebody says this and that, and only one thing can exist in one space at a time, so you do a little rationalization and find out if someone is, giving you the boga. Runaround, bluff, displacement. So this one, I'm going to, then I later on erased it. That's something I do. For memory purposes, just to check to see if my memory is working. One day I'll just decide, okay, let's just erase 7 months worth of work. We can make it again. And I've often done that. I did this with this BrickField here near Spezan. Yeah, it's kind of impressive. It's interesting how Google set up the whole overlay when the pushpins get close together. Watch what happens. A little bit better. a little bit better. If you click on it, yeah, baby. That's what happens. It takes a lot of time, and you have to go in a place. And I'm mapping BrickFields across India, but first I'm going to finish Bangladesh, and then I'm going to come into Pakistan. It's the land of my birth, and I was raised there till I was 11. So yeah, 1/4 of my life was a significant chunk of my life is based on the memories of that. And so I don't differentiate between memories, but anyway, I don't want to go into personal, psychological, philosophical analysis much. How to make a homegrown GIS. Usually in maps you have grids, and so I'll lay out grids randomly. It doesn't even have to be measured. Just lay out grids randomly, and then just go along the line at a distance that's comfortable to your eyes, and you'll find and move the map, put it into motion slowly enough so that you can see what you're looking for. And you sit around all day long, having cups of coffee, one after the other, and then you get yourself a little thumbtack, and you find the chimney, and you look for its base, and you put it, I would, because that makes it consistent. It's in the middle. Okay. And you just save it. I'm not going to call it bricky, but I'll show you one thing that's happening. This is this brick guy's drying yard. Across the road. See, in Punjab, in Pakistani agricultural lands are rigidly owned and controlled. And you can't just willy-nilly go to a farmer and say, Sardar ji or whatever, Tata, ये ज़मीन हमको बेच दीजिए. हाँ, और कुछ है ना? Anyway, in Bangladesh it's easier because there's rich farmers, poor farmers together. In Pakistan it's not. If you have 20 acres, 30 acres, 40 acres, you got clout. You're not going to sell cheap. So a brick field operator would buy one piece of land for the kiln a lot of the times, and then other little pieces of land within reach for drying the adobe. In Bangladesh, it's all in one, which is a very different ball game parameter set. And here comes the rag. Ooh. So you just move the map at your own pace, and you'll pick up in due course, very short order, where to look for the brick fields, if it is brick fields you're looking for. It's far easier to train your mind than train an AI. Believe me, there is so much variety in the Google Earth data and the photo plates. I don't know how AI works. I would like to. I came here to this country to study artificial intelligence. That was the intent. But I do understand it's a whole lot of parameter pickup. And when you move the map like this, your mind and relax. You'll pick it up. You'll feel. You'll know. You'll know not to look in the middle of the town for a brick field, unless it's in Bangladesh, which of course has been reduced. I'm not criticizing. I'm informing. Thank you. So you make that grid. Once you have your brick fields, you think you have it passed, and you have to make like 3-4 passes. That means a lot of reading. Pakistan is gonna take you about 400 hours because it's a lot of land. Like in the middle of nowhere, you don't expect a brick field. It's in the desert. It's in the arid zone, and look what they got. So you have to go inspect every little plate thing, about 1.5 miles wide and 1.5 miles long, tall, and slowly. And so Pakistan is about 700 miles or something like that, top to bottom. Good luck, and it's 400, 500 miles wide. Interesting little hunt it's going to be. So in Google Earth, I'm using Google Earth to make a GIS about Bangladesh's brick fields. This is what I have so far. I had the whole map covered in pixels. These boundaries are division boundaries that I have highlighted with the path tool here. And this is Borishal, This is Dhaka, that's Sylhet. This is Chittagong, and Noakhali, and this is Khulna, and that's Rajshahi. Rajshahi, last night I finished up to here. And this little mark is nothing, it was just a placeholder to let me know how far I had transcribed the push pins. So I'm just going to delete that. Alright, so in order to get the push pins, you inspect and you put the push pins in. That's tedious and that's sometimes mind numbing, and you have to know yourself very, very well how to handle your mind numbness and how to keep yourself interested, how to keep yourself soft, not to get too hard inside, because then things will start getting difficult and you'll stress out. You don't want to stress out, you just want to relax. So let the show begin. The show started. And I made a mistake, that's why I had done this previously, I had transcribed it into KML previously, but I had made a mistake, so I had to come back and do it all over again, all 3,000, thank you. That's gonna be fun. And I had these things in push pins, and they've been transcribed to pixels, to KML files right here. I got 5, the 6th one is coming. So let's begin. I think I found out a way how to connect the camera directly to the computer, so I don't have to rely on the battery life. And on this one I have to rely on the battery life, because right now I don't have a long enough USB cable to hook it to the computer. So what you can do with this, I have made another video and I will put that up too, is you can extract, one of the hardest things to extract from push pins, if you have a lot of them. If you have a few, you can just hand transcribe it. One of the hardest things to extract from it is the coordinates. You have to write a special KML for it. My KML training is not that tough. It's like, I'd have to learn the whole syntax. I don't want to go digging through that. So I'm just going to copy paste it, then use Notepad and a QBasic program or a DBase3+ program, and extract only the portion of the text strings I need and leave the rest behind. And then put that in a database and give it a data structure as to what the characteristics are, what's the cluster size, how far it is from locality. All these things depend. When you see clusters, you also see localities in high density, because labor has to be within walking distance, like in 35 minutes, 10 minutes preferable. If you walk, you know what walking speed is. And these people are not highly, we normally don't consider highly tech savvy, but they have a tech that is land tech, and Bangladesh land tech is highly complex. You better know what you're doing. Walking around in the sweet market top, bazar khabar thiki barai korbe. Because you will take care. In the sweet market is the midsummer heat, you don't want to be walking around aimlessly. So you better have a concise, precise, and effective aim. That's how they choose locations of these BrickFields. And most people have 3, some 2, and they will have 3 eventually. Very few people have 4 and 5, and if it goes above that, some have 15, 20, 30. I think. I don't know, but you can tell when it's a family group. It's fairly easy. Once you do it yourself, you'll start noticing it. I hope the fan is not making too much noise. And if I go silent, it's not because I don't have anything to say. I'm just focusing on this thing so that I don't miss anything. When you're picking this up, you're actually rereading, and if you don't allow yourself to reread, your heart and your mind will not work together for long, because you're denying yourself the benefit of a good read, good soak. And here is something very interesting. There's a blue striation in the drying yard. What you doing? What is that? Anyway, so just finish the thing. I'll figure it out. Sooner or later, it'll come to forward as to what the blue color is in the brick drying yard, the adobe drying yard. Until last night, I had gotten 1123 in, and the whole of Kulna. Ooh, that was fun. Kulna had 1263 or something. The site selection for the BrickFields in Khulna is way different than north of the Ganges. The land north of the Ganges is way higher. If you look, oh shit, I covered it up. It's about 35, 71. It's 71 feet. And in Khulna, there are places which are 6 feet above sea level. That means there's saltwater encroachment, and if you dig too deep for the dirt, if you don't get clean dirt, your bricks will have salt. And if your bricks have salt, they are not very good construction material. If your bricks are salty, they have to be soaked for 3-4 days in a tank in order to slow dissolve the salt out. And sometimes it requires multiple soaking. Because everybody is familiar with brick construction in Bangladesh, and I've seen a lot of it. And usually, if you don't desalinate the bricks, the plaster you put on it will fall out because salt will crystallize, and the paint and the whitewash you put on it, it'll peel off. And you'll be doing repairs ad infinitum for like years until the salt goes away. And if it doesn't, the brick will actually crumble, because the crystal structures, when they form and deform, it just destroys the brick. In the monsoons, they'll get waterlogged and then crystallize, and then the crystals will start pushing the adobe portion of the brick out or something like that. I don't know what the exact mechanics is, but if you see salt on a wall, that wall needs repair, seriously. And you should not have put salty bricks. So in Khulna, where the elevation sometimes is just 6 to 10 feet, they have to be very selective about where they put, where they site the brick field. And so that information is a very important thing. It's land feel. It's a land feel of it's a survey ready-made, done for everybody to use. This is whatever the brick fields are worth for pollution and for money accumulation and market warping and road stressing with their heavy trucks and stuff like that. They have done a good thing. They have made a real parameter grid, as opposed to mindless lines. That's just the first stop. Then, when you erase the lines, your grid becomes a grid. It's like telephone poles. Where is the telephone line? Just go look for the telephone poles. You have to be patient, and you have to enjoy patience, and you have to find out what you feel like when you're being patient. I feel love when I'm being patient. Alhamdulillah. I like to keep it one space off at least, and if it goes to two, I don't care. But if it's no space, I don't like that, because if I need to visually inspect it, visually go like this, I like to see the space there. Because it's part of the textometry. It's time to wave the flag. What? There you go. So a lot of the things are going to get interesting here. This is north of Ganges. Ganges is right here. When we get to this part, it is going to be very interesting. There's a gazillion world-class mango orchards. Like if uh, Bangladesh stopped producing mangoes and Pakistan stopped producing mangoes, there will be a mango crisis in the world. So I'm not sure if I put that one in. So when in doubt, I'll just go to a. I'll repaste it here to see where the push pin came from. So we have to repaste it on the push pin, on a pre-existing push pin. Otherwise, it's just not going to do anything. It's not going to let you do anything. And you recut it. And it doesn't matter if you do it twice. Once you have the coordinates extracted, it's an easy matter to get rid of the duplicates. So this is a pretty open area. Right now I have put in about 25, 30, and it took a little while and I don't want to lose it. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to save it, just in case Google hangs. And you save the My Places thing and save the text too, just in case there's a power outage. Last winter there were. Go to properties on the line and move the line around. This is your fence, reference fence, if you will. Oh shit. So if you make a mistake like that, with the left arrow, just go left button, just go on the right button. It'll go back. Or hit cancel here, all of the changes you make. So now save it. This is your work area. There was an initiative by an American guy and some Indian outfit for satellite recognition of satellite mapping of BrickFields in Bangladesh. I don't know what happened to it, but I will go look for it, and I apologize ahead because the amount of work it took to do this. My opinion is, I don't think that. They have to write a military grade AI. And that shit is expensive. There are AI operations in Bangladesh who can do this. I wonder how much they would charge. But there are so many, the reason I'm saying that is there's so many pixels, there's at least 8,000, and so many push pins to put in, at least 8,000, and the terrain is like, the background is like a camouflage of the highest order. And BrickFields come in so many shapes and shades, and Google's picture plates and Google's image providers, they provide so many different color lenses. And see this here? It just has to go through so many different variants. It's going to take it a year to just learn it. I think. I'd like to see what they do. What's it? It's at 63. I'm sitting about 14 feet away from my computer monitor. I'm actually reclining in my bed, sleeping in the living room. And a lot of the things like this one says, love the name of the jute mill, pardon me. How did I get the name of the jute mill? I have no freaking clue. But I do remember seeing this. Oh, there's a picture. Piker jute mills. You know what a piker is? Piker is a wholesale buyer and seller, bulk buyer and seller. And the term it's used in agricultural produce, and one you hear very often is jute season buying and selling. Pikers have come. Yep, bulk buyers have arrived, and this bulk buyer made himself a jute mill. Wowee! Talk about a follow through. And that plot, Piker Jute Mill, that plot was just a, whatchamacallit. Look at the history here. It's Piker, believe me. You see, that land has been repurposed. Watch where this thing goes. Oh, it didn't go anywhere, it stayed there, but they made it square. Sorry, but point I was trying to illustrate here is this is industrial land. This is industrially available land. This land can be made available. Whether the owner uses it or he lets go up 2/3 of his property at the market value, it doesn't matter. But as far as the fiduciary responsibility to the whole country is concerned, it is to be considered as a possible good choice of industrial setup. And that's one of the good things that will come out of it. And the other good thing that will also come out of it is it will correlate to floods. And it will correlate to winds and pollution movement. And Bangladesh is a very complex place when it comes to floods because waters don't want to move. It's just so flat. And you pick the pins as you go at your convenience. Whatever is single alone by itself will give you lesser headaches. You pick out the single ones and then you can go into the tighter cluster. So if an owner has 3 BrickFields, they'll be within walking distance. And he's probably running the main crew for making the adobe first, the same crew throughout his 3 BrickFields, and it's easier for him to command and control, and it's easier for him to have a labor pool that will be willing to tie up with him for the whole year, because he can guarantee them work no matter what the season, especially in the north, because the floods are not going to hit this area that much, where I'm at right now. And managing 3 BrickFields for one person is doable. And having the same crew for 3 BrickFields is doable. But if you have 15, that is not so easy. If you have something deep in the south in Khulna, that is very painful. because you'd have to be a different kind of a person to stay on site and manage your business. You will probably want to hire a manager because average brick field makes